Hi, I am Mrs. Sloan. I am the Science Department Chair here at Oak Park High School, and I'm here to talk to you about AP Biology and Honors Biology as you are deciding what classes you want to take in the 2024-25 school year. So I'm going to lay out similarities and differences between them, so hopefully you can make the best choice for you and what you are willing to work for. All right, so first, both classes are flipped classrooms. Let me tell you what that means. I have recorded videos of my lectures, and I will provide for you a scaffolding of notes. So you have an outline, and you will take digital notes. You can take them by hand if you want to as well, on my presentation that I give you via Edpuzzle. I embed questions into the Edpuzzles to help you focus on what's important and also to keep you engaged during the videos. So you will have already taken your notes for the class before we meet in class to discuss it. In class, we will debrief it, and I use another app. I use something called Pear Deck, and it allows you to answer questions intermittently to check for understanding. And I also give you that Pear Deck as a Google Doc at the close of class, along with my presentation. So flipped means you need to do some work before you come into class. And that is the bulk of your homework, is just preparing for our class discussions so we can maximize the time we have together. And that is true for both honors and AP. Both classes use a college textbook. However, for AP Bio, it'd be more for somebody who's going to major in biology. And both classes have quite a bit of support material. I do have a YouTube channel with lectures you can go to see, reviews that I have provided, etc. For AP Biology, the pace and the depth of the material and the expectations is very rigorous. When you take the AP exam, you could potentially, if you pass it at a 3 or higher, receive college credit for it. It is taught more along the lines of a college class. You need to be prepared to move quickly. Also, the College Board for AP Biology assumes you've had 1 full year of biology and 1 full year of chemistry before taking this class as at least a junior or a senior in high school. And you will be taking it primarily as a 10th grader. So that means I need to get a little bit of chemistry into you, more than what you received in FOSS. And also I need to teach you a lot of basic biology along with the AP biology curriculum. In honors biology, it's a more relaxed pace. It is just a little more rigorous than a CP bio class. If I was going to scale it, honors bio is closer to AP than it is to CP. Both support materials. Now, the biggest thing, and this is probably more along the lines for AP Bio than Honors Bio, is you're going to believe me or not. The problem is you have spent 10 years in school already, and it's probably worked for you. If you're considering honors or AP Bio, you're probably doing well in school, and you've adapted some behaviors that have made you successful. You may be a crammer. You may do things last minute. You may stay up too late. You may procrastinate. And maybe it has still earned you the grades that you wanted. There's a paradigm shift when you're taking a college level class, and I'm going to teach you some strategies that hopefully, from what I hear, help you not only the rest of your high school career, but into college. And I will give you items that successful students adopt. And if you wait till the end of the year to start adopting these strategies, it'll be a little bit late because you won't have all the curriculum understood at an applicable level from the beginning of the year. So I encourage you to start these strategies now. And so I'll give you a couple of examples of 2 strategies, main strategies to be successful in this class. But please, the biggest problem I have is people thinking, I don't need to believe her on this. I've always been successful in school. I'm sure I'll be successful now. And I hate to tell you, but the struggle is real. So the first example is the 24-hour rule. I encourage all students, whether it's from my biology class or any of your classes, to get your work done 24 hours before it is due. And that is because I assume chaos is going to happen in your life. And if you have already watched your Edpuzzle video, if you've already prepared for our debrief in class and a discussion over it, 24 hours before we meet, then if something comes up at night, if the power goes out, it doesn't matter because you're already ready for the next day's class. So that's number one. The sooner you adopt that principle, the better off you're going to be. And it really does lower your stress. If you're preparing for a quiz, I like you to be ready for it 24 hours before you take it. Don't wait until the night before. That's when you tend to stay up too late and you don't get enough sleep, and it tends to increase your stress level. The second one I would encourage is to front load. The more, let me move myself out of the way a little bit. Oh, not right in the middle. Okay. The more you get your work, you prepare for our classroom discussions that we have, the more authentic your time when you watch Edpuzzles and take notes as you're watching the video, the more prepared you are, the better you will understand the class material. You'll know where your weak parts are in it, where it seems a little difficult for you, because you can annotate your notes and say, I have questions here, or this is hard, and you can ask me about it in class. I encourage my students by front loading, not just starting with the Edpuzzle, but actually starting with your textbook. And if you're going to watch a video over chapter 13, you probably don't have time to read all of chapter 13, but at least skim it. Look at every diagram, look at every picture, look at the bold words, and then watch your Edpuzzle video, because then you'll have some context for what you're watching. And at that point, you'll have taken notes, you'll have watched an Edpuzzle, you will have skimmed your book, you will have looked at the pictures. When you come to class and I debrief it and I'm ready to answer questions and I ask you questions to see if you understand it, it really maximizes our time together. So when you leave my classroom, it should not be like, I don't get it. At this point, you should have confirmation that you understand it. Yes, there may be some memorization that you have to do, but you're not trying to just understand it. You already have a good idea of those concepts. So front loading, very important. Following the 24-hour rule, very important for my most successful students. And at the end of this video, I have a link to some testimonials from 4 or 5 students of what they adapted or strategies they employed in order to be successful. All right, next, understand that in AP Bio, you must be motivated to review and study. You have to be intrinsically motivated. It has to be about you, not your parents, not college recs. It has to be that you are interested in the subject and you can motivate yourself to stay ahead and stay current with the material. Lazy students generally are not successful. In the past, I know cramming has worked for you, but we have such a depth and breadth of information that if you cram for a quiz, you're kind of memorizing it and just throwing it down there in the quiz. It's not going to be there for you by the time you take the unit exam. And if that's how you prepare for quizzes and unit exams, when you take your AP exam, which will assess you on the entire year's worth of material, you won't really have it. Assignments need to be seen when you watch an Edpuzzle, not as a burden, not as something you have to get through, but assignments should be an opportunity to engage with that material safely on your own. When you watch an Edpuzzle video and I ask you a question, if you don't understand it, rewind it, watch it again, take notes, annotate on your notes what is difficult for you, what you might need more help on, etc. Don't see these as burdens. See this as preparation. They should be done when your brain is at maximum abilities. These should not be done at 10:30 and 11:30 at night. That's not when you should be completing your assignments. You should be sleeping then. So that's why it takes avoiding procrastination. It takes staying ahead, following the 24-hour rule. And keep in mind, this is not intended to be a high school course. It is intended to be a college course because you can get college credit for it. And you are also taking it fairly early. The expectations they have is for a student who has already had honors bio, or honors or pre-AP bio, and they've already had chemistry. Now, to say that, I don't want to try to discourage you from taking the class. We have a tremendously high pass rate for students here at Oak Park. The national average is usually around 62, 64, 65%, and I'm always in the high 90% pass rate. And passing well. All right, next. When you are signing up for this class, it says you need to have an A in FOSS, because you're not just jumping one level. If you go to FOSS to CP Bio, that would be a single jump in my book. If you go to FOSS to honors, that is a double jump in that you are moving from a CP class to an honors class and also another grade above. Now to go into AP, that's like a triple jump. So if you found FOSS difficult, if you could not get an A in FOSS, then AP biology will be very difficult for you. If you struggled to get an A in FOSS, but you still got an A, then maybe honors bio is a better fit for you. And in science, we do claim, evidence, and reason. So if you're claiming you're ready for AP, if you're claiming you're ready for honors, I need to have some evidence to demonstrate that you're there, because I don't want you to be placed in a class that is overwhelming for you or requires a schedule change once you realize that it is too difficult for you as far as that cognitive load that you will have to carry in the class. Now, if you do not meet the prerequisites, but that is due to you had some growing up to school your freshman year, which is not atypical, that you didn't give it your best effort, that you changed your goals and you wanted to take a more rigorous curriculum, then you can appeal. But the A is required both semesters. So if one of those semesters you don't have an A, then you are going to need to fill out an appeal. Now, I read every appeal that comes to the science department, every appeal. And the part that always shocks me is when a student has not demonstrated evidence through their grades and then follows that up with an appeal that has not followed the instructions. If you cannot follow the instructions on the appeal on how to attach your transcripts and how to answer the questions, then that isn't an appeal I'm going to dismiss, because that just tells me once again that you're not ready for that class. Let me give you an example. I have had students who appealed and did a screenshot of just the semester that they didn't have the A grade. That doesn't work. I need to have your entire transcript. Or I have had appeals where they blame their teacher for why they didn't earn the appropriate grade. The other students who earned the appropriate grade got it, and they had the same teacher. So that is not a good reason as to why you did not meet the grade prerequisite. All right, next, amount of homework. Everybody's different and everybody can handle a different cognitive load. What seems easy for others might be difficult for someone else. So when I look at the time investment in just watching the Edpuzzle video and answering the questions, not rewinding, not skimming the book ahead of time, not studying for quizzes or tests, just looking at the time invested into the Edpuzzles, for AP Bio, it's about 7 hours a month. So just a little over an hour a week in Edpuzzles, but that does not account for studying and preparing for those Edpuzzles. For honors, it's about 4.8 hours per month. And you need to look at your schedule, what classes you're going to take, what sports you have, any other extracurriculars that you're doing, and know that the more you invest getting ready for the class is going to pay off during class and less reviewing you have to do after class. Obviously, labs and lab write-ups would be in addition to that. Next, strong suggestions. I think I've said it 5 times already. I'm going to say it to you again because it's the biggest problem. You need to complete your Edpuzzles thoughtfully so that we can maximize our class discussions. When we are in class, I need you to be engaged, to be an active listener. You can annotate every slide that I present on through Pear Deck. You can ask questions, make sure you answer all the formative assessments so that I can make sure you understand the material. You need to review daily, even if you don't have a quiz. You need to set aside some time to deal with the information we discussed that day and prepare for the next class period. And then I have a plethora of resources available for you. Again, I have a YouTube channel that has every lecture I've ever done. It has every review I've ever given, and you can go in there and watch it at whatever speed is helpful for you in order to take advantage of that material. I have quizzes, I have Kahoots, I have practice questions. Your textbook has end of chapter questions. You can go on Khan Academy and look at their summaries and take their practice questions. And if you're in AP, I give you practice questions from the College Board, the actual authors of your exam, for every single unit, and then also some sub within the unit. I give you practice exams as well. Those are not graded, those practice questions from the College Board. It is the College Board classroom, and it is the strategy that you need to do these so you can get feedback for yourself, not as a penalty for your grades. However, if you are struggling in AP Bio and I see you're not taking advantage of those assessments, it really paints a picture. If you're doing your ed puzzles last minute, the night before they're due, if you turn in an application, Google form where I ask you a series of questions through a POGL, and you're doing it 5 minutes before it's due, I know that it wasn't authentic. And this is not the class for you. Once again, that procrastination is going to be your worst enemy. All right. And what gets in the way of your success? Not believing. Again, the more you prepare for class, the less time you need to review afterwards, the more engaged you are, annotating your notes, using your Pear Deck, answering questions and participating, the less reviewing outside. And the earlier you start in your reviewing process, the better. Some students don't start preparing for tests until a day or 2 days before they take their exam. You should start reviewing for your unit exam the first day of that unit. So if we start a unit on January 9th, you start reviewing for that test that might not be till the 25th. That's the attitude and the mindset that you need to have to be successful in the class. All right. And I have a website. Go on that website. All my calendars, I have daily calendars for both AP and Honors Bio. You can look at the pacing and the expectations for each of those units. You can see the College Board expectations. I have links to all of them so you can get a really good picture of each of the courses. And then if you have any additional questions, you can come and see me and come and talk to me. But also, this is a link right here where it says YouTube of several students, and they are going to give you some advice as well. So I hope that's helpful. I want you to make the best decision for you. You be you. All right.